What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 13 of Park to Prem here with Boston United. Today it's the start of a whole new season, season number 3, our first in the Vanarama National League, and I dare say there's a little bit of expectation on our shoulder this year. If we just look on the general tab here, you can see the media prediction going into the summer transfer window was 8th place. That was at the point of the league refresh. You know the date in Football Manager, it's towards the end of June, and at that point you move up a league and the status quo is established for the year, and the media said we were going to finish 8th. We've been a little bit busy. We've not spent a whole lot of money or brought in a whole host of players. Our stock in the, race for the title has risen, though. We are now second favourites for the title, behind only Notts County. So yeah, I am feeling a little bit of the pressure. You'll notice here, 3 players of our team in the Media Dream 11. One is Simon, one is Quanza, one is Liddell. It's a familiar story to last season, really. Interesting to note that 3 players in the Media Dream 11 from our squad, all players who played for us last year, which I really think reinforces the idea that last year we had a very, very good squad. So anyway, let's talk about what we've been doing in the transfer market. We've made a few additions, as you can see, but not a massive amount of players coming in or out, really. You can see here, we did make a few deals just before that summer refresh date. Adam Thomas, we sold to Tranmere for £4,000. We brought him in on a freebie. He wasn't very good for us. Little bit of money made for a player who was unhappy, and I was perhaps going to just release anyway. It felt like a bit of a no-brainer. On the ins, though, we did make some additions. Reece Bennett, of course, we agreed to sign. You saw that just last episode. It was kind of a weird one to get done, but a fantastic centre-back for this level. Lee Jonas as well has joined us, of course, from Liverpool, another young defender, and the one player who's not so much of a youngster, although he was once upon a time, as I suppose we all were, really. Zach Clough. This guy was a regen. A regen. He wasn't a regen. He was a Wonderkid. That's the wrong words come out. He was a Wonderkid when he was first added to Football Manager. A long, long time ago. You can see here, he was at Nottingham Forest. Played 4 games for them in the Championship. They released him. He joined us right at the end of the season, last season, after almost 12 months without a club. It comes in as the backup of all backups, really. We had him on trial throughout last year on a few occasions. Finally signed on the dotted line. Happy to have him. Good little bit of squad depth for this year. And, going into this season, you can see we made a few further additions. But on the outs, we did let Joshua Roach go to Shamrock Rovers. We signed him on a free transfer from West Ham. They have bid £1,000 plus 50% of his next sale. Let's hope he sells for a little bit of money. It could be a nice little money maker, I suppose. The other player who left us, another player leaving on a free. This time it was Malon, the cheese grater. Yeah, he didn't last very long, did he? Of course, we brought him in to give Cameron King some competition. Just never really worked out for him. And, on the ins, we've been busy. We've added in a lot of midfielders, really. Midfield was where I wanted to add quality. I think Bobby Camwer here is perhaps the best bit of quality we've managed to snap up. Signed from Leeds United, he is a centre mid, I guess naturally, although for us, he is going to be playing as a winger on attack. And if we just look at him as a winger on attack, you can see here he's absolutely top drawer. His physicals are insane. And if we just compare him to Hawkridge, who has signed a contract for the season, you can kind of see how much of an upgrade he is. But yeah, any player released by Leeds United, I have a close eye on. We're geographically not a world away over in Boston. And he was one player we picked up. Another player we picked up who wasn't exactly geographically miles away. I guess technically he would be miles away. Norwich is miles away from Boston, but is in the expression. He's not really far away, everyone. You know what I'm trying to say. Zach Dronfield, very good player, very good centre mid, released by Norwich City. It might just become a thing during this series that every single year we sign someone from Norwich on a free who gets released. Looks like a really, really good centre mid. I wasn't able to get in that super experienced head that I wanted, a super kind of natural born leader that could go into the starting 11. But Dronfield here is going to be kind of making frequent appearances as a starting centre mid. And you can see here I have made him captain, which kind of gives you an idea of where we're at. But with 11 teamwork, 11 determination and 13 leadership, he's not a bad little leader. And alongside Sam York, he's a slightly more defensive-minded centre mid that does open up the opportunity to play York this year as an advanced playmaker on support, which, if you watched yesterday's end-of-season live com, you'll know was kind of an idea that I was floating about. Anyway, a few other players who joined us who won't be necessarily starters but will be part of the first team this year. The first is Charles Segot. We signed him from Arsenal. Very, very quick player, can play a fair few positions. Currently training him to play right mid. Could be the ideal super sub for at this kind of level. Not got very good mentals, but the boy can run. And that's all we kind of need, really. Sam Barrett joined us as a left mid option. I am still looking at ways in which we can improve the left-hand side of midfield, but Sam is likely to start today on the left-hand side. And if we weren't able to pick up another left mid, would I be content with him? You know what? I think I would be. At this level, he's very, very good. He's not the most crazy kind of player in terms of ability, but you can see very few cons, lots of pros. I think he's a player who, as you can see here, is good for this level. That's all we can really ask for when it comes to our new signings. We also signed Adam Hayton. He is just a backup goalkeeper. If he develops, fantastic. If he doesn't, well, he's a player in the under-23s, which, of course, we newly established. And the same can kind of be said for the last two players here. Marlon Fossey joins us as a good little right-back option. We've had a fair bit of interest shown in some of our backup right-backs, the likes of Eddie Jackson, for example. If the right offer came in, I certainly wouldn't be against letting him go. And I saw in Fossey an opportunity to sign a player on less than £100 a week who would be a very, very good backup at right-back for us. But if it doesn't really work out, I'm not going to be kicking myself. Again, free transfer, not a lot of wage spend. And a similar story with Bright Amoateng. He was released by Bolton. Perhaps not as good as my scouts first let on, and my coaches perceived him to be when we had him in on trial. We've signed him. The potential is questionable, but of course we have now got this under-23s side set up. And it does just offer us an opportunity to put players in here, to keep an eye on them without necessarily feeling a pressure to play them regularly in the first team. You'll notice here a fair few players who were infrequent members of the first team last season, now in the under-23s, most of which aren't on a great deal of money at all. And in fact, when it comes to the financial side of things, we've not spent any money on any signings. We've brought in a load of freebies. Our committed wage spend is currently £12,500, although £750 of that is in players that I'm still trying to get done because we always have to look at ways in which we can improve the team. I would love to get in a backup left back. I've decided that Duxbury is the man for the job. Of course, I talked last episode about possibly replacing him. Hasn't really been an option that's materialised. Looking at Matty Downing as a pretty good backup left back option. He's actually playing with Bradford PA, who have had a rough few years, but I do feel like he has the quality to play in the National League, especially as a backup, and he would be a really good signing if we can get it over the line. I think it would be something like £8,000 in compensation for him. The other player we're looking at is DKM. Yes, I kind of teased this previously. He looks really, really good, and although he's right-footed and he is naturally a left mid, as far as wingers on attack go, for this level, he's really, really good, and he's a player who I've used before, so I know he has a little bit of quality about him. He's currently unhappy. He's a consistent performer. There's lots to like about him. He's super quick, and at this level, I do feel like pace is just a massive, massive factor. It's something that applies to all elements of your game, and yeah, similarly with him, we are trying to sign him for £170. Thank you, Chester. I'm hoping we're going to get that one over the line, but you can see with these two players, the wages aren't too outrageous at all. DKM would likely get starts on the left-hand side, or at least be fighting for a first-team spot. Matty Downing, as I said, just a really, really good backup. So you might have noticed with the new additions to the team, it's not like we've totally reinvented the side, and in fact, when you look at the team as a whole, the back five is the exact same. We've still got Dermot Mee at, well, goalkeeping position. I did look at other goalkeepers around, but to be honest, I hadn't really grown to appreciate how good Mee was last season. He was really, really good, and how much he's improved in the last season as well. He's shown really good progress. He's good enough for this level. I feel like it'd be unfair not to give him a chance, really. Of course, the back four I was pretty happy with anyway. We've got Percy Prado, the Peruvian, at right back. Lots of alliteration going on there. Quansah and Simon at centre back. These two guys were super standout last year. I'm just super excited to see what they can achieve this year between them, the two players, both of them in the Media Dream 11. Of course, at left-back, Duxbury, a few question marks over him defensively. I don't really have a backup or alternative to him, which is why Downing would be a really good addition to the team. Perhaps a little bit better defensively. Maybe could throw him into the first team over Duxbury in tougher games. But yeah, I decided to give Scott another shot. I mean, despite his average ratings, he got 3 goals and 9 assists last year, which I feel like for a left-back is hard to be kind of mad with. In terms of the midfield, only Sam York returns from last season, at least into the starting 11 today. You can see we've got Dronfield, who I've already bigged up a lot. The current captain, he has a very smiley, happy face. The Norfolk boy, I mean, is he actually from Norfolk? He is from. He was born in Norwich, everyone. He is from Norfolk. He's at centre mid with York, gives York the ability to play higher up the pitch. Camwer out on the right, I am super excited about. I think he's a really, really great player for us. Far too good for this level. Of course, we've now got Barrett out on the left-hand side, just to compare him and DKM. You can see here the kind of direct comparison. Slightly different wingers. I think DKM perhaps possesses slightly more quality. But either way, Sam is just a very, very good option for us to have. And up front, the one position I didn't really look to change this year is the striking department. We've got Jordan Burrow. He's going to play alongside Liddell. You know what to expect from those two because they were doing it all of last year. We have got Devante Cole on the bench. Did contemplate swapping him in for Burrow, but ultimately his work rate and also his stamina don't really tailor him to be a very good pressing forward, which is how I want us to play. I feel like Liddell is a great advance forward. And he kind of needs a partner in crime, someone who's going to chase after the ball. Devante Cole's not really that, but I do think he could be a really good impact sub for us this year. Elsewhere on the bench, you can see we've got Fraser Preston, who returns for another year without the captain's armband this year, I'm pleased to say. Galliani also holds down a spot, always useful with a 5-man bench to have a player who's as kind of versatile as Adrian. Adrian. Maybe it is Adrian. He's Italian, who answers on a postcard. Saxon Early's on the bench this year. Of course, he started at centre mid. And last, but certainly not least, we've got Reece Bennett, who, of course, joined us from Manchester United. Very, very good centre-back. Could potentially force his way into the first team. Could he split up Quansah and Simon? That is a question that I suppose will be answered over the course of this season. So yeah, that's a little bit of an introduction to the squad for this year. Not a whole host of new players coming in. Really the midfield, the big area that I felt like needed desperate improvement. And we have strengthened there. And obviously off the back of that, the press like us a lot. Just have a quick look at the board expectations for this year. They want a mid-table finish. Realistically, I'm targeting playoffs this season. I think with the players that we brought in, that should be a minimum expectation. Hoping for a little bit of cup success as well, the board. So maybe some pressure to be had there. We've never really been able to go on a cup run so far. So if we could do that this year, that would be blooming fantastic. And you can see here, just the kind of club vision medium to long term is just top half finish every year. We're looking to go beyond that, obviously. I feel like too often in Football Manager, under Club Vision, the director, the chairman, whoever it is setting the targets, just isn't ambitious enough. And I think when you look at our squad, when you look at the fact we're going into our new ground, we've got quality, we should be doing quite well. And well, to start the season, we've got a game, if we just take a peek here, against Bromley. And this is not insignificant because Bromley were relegated last year from League 2 to the Vanarama National. They were promoted the season before as league leaders. And if you just look at their pre-season billing, their expectations really aren't that high. They got this shock promotion. I don't know if they've just had all their best players plucked away from them, but ultimately we should be beating them. And they are a team who, of course, won this league a couple of years ago. So it would give us a little bit of confidence, I suppose, if we could do something here. Anyway, we're sticking with the 4-4-2. I feel like we don't need to adjust stuff completely unnecessarily. We did have a couple of late pre-season friendlies, hence all the rotation that's going on in the background, where the game is like, hey, that's 11 new players in the team today. It absolutely is. I'm not playing the team that played midweek against FC United of Manchester in the first league game of the year. But anyway, let's get into this, shall we? Very excited for it. The Vanarama National, I think, is one of the hardest leagues to get out of. It can be a real battle, and at the same time, you can get bogged down in here. That said, we've got a squad of some real quality. Let's see how we get on against Bromley. And I'm quite keen to see how the midfield shapes up. Obviously, York is now playing as an advanced playmaker, which I'm hoping is going to see him have a bit more of an influence on the game. And in the wide areas, of course, new wingers on show, including Camwer, who is currently on the ball. Burrow, oh my word, that is such a lovely first goal of the season. I was not expecting that to end up in the back of the net. 5 minutes gone, Bromley 0, Boston 1. Can we discuss this build-up play? This is just really, really nice. Camwer to York, plays it through to Liddell. Little faint touch really just to divert it into the path of Burrow, who was already running onto it. 1-0. That's the start we wanted. That is definitely the start we wanted. Worth noting, Bromley are also playing a 4-4-2, so a bit of a like-for-like shape up here. And well, early on, we are having a lot of chances, at least judged off these match stats here. An XG of almost 1 already. We've only been playing for 16 minutes. Trotter with the ball, though, switching it out wide. Of course, we did make a habit last year of conceding goals against the run of play, so I'm hoping that this year we're going to be a little bit better. Barrett out on the left wing, looking to make a good first impression, I suppose, and if that passes the first impression of him in a live com, then it can only go upwards, really, can't it? That was not the best ball through. Dronefield and York, though, going to be very interesting, I think, as a midfield pairing. We have still got, obviously, Saxon Early and also Mamma Mia at centre mid, but we're trying something different as Burrow tries something different, and that is not scoring. He always scores those. Unfortunately, on this occasion, skews his effort wide. I mean, with 25 minutes gone, we look way better than Bromley. I'm kind of surprised at how low their media prediction is. They're predicted to finish down in mid-table. As I said, I can only assume that their team that got them promoted to League 2 has been pulled apart following their relegation, or maybe it just was a super shock promotion. They did win the Vanarama National League, so we've got to give them some respect, although Camwa, I mean, smile for the Camwa, it's not going to get old, is it? Referee, it's a penalty, Liddell's on it. He's assisted one already. Can he now get one? 2 goals before half-time would help me relax just a little bit. Liddell steps up, hits it into the bottom corner just about. Scott got a hand to it. It was not strong enough. And, well, we will take that. Liddell and Burrow both scoring in the first league game of the year. Of course, they were the 2 men we lent on this season just gone for goals. And, well, I think it'd be fair to say that their start at this level is rather promising. It shows that hopefully they are just going to be able to step up and hit the ground running another level up. I feel like, and I talk about this a lot, in any lower league save, you just need a goal scorer. If you can have 2 goal scorers, it's a bonus. But if you have goals, you will just grind out results, even with a really, really bad midfield and defence. Obviously, both those things can help the strikers get more goals, but just having a superstar striker can change matches. And I do feel like we've got a few of those at our disposal, really. Anyway, the second half is just flying on through here without any highlights. I'm going to make some changes. Dronfield hasn't had the craziest of debuts. Let's bring in Early. And additionally, I am going to bring in Devante Cole, I think, for Burrow in this game. I want to give Cole a little bit of game time. He has the quality, as I said before, probably not really ideally suited to players of pressing forward. So with that in mind, you know what? We'll put him to a poacher alongside Liddell and see how he gets on. Duxbury whipped in, Liddell flicked on. Is there a chance here? Is there a chance here? No, there's not. I thought Cole was about to just nip in front of the keeper and steal the ball, but unfortunately, he's caught it. He's clutching hold of it. Bromley, well, trying to find a way back into this game, perhaps. Smith on the ball now with Steele. And if they score 1, we may start to panic a little. Fortunately for us, Mee makes a huge save. Apparently Barrett's giving it everything he can. We should bring in Preston, right? Fraser. The fact that Fraser Preston is still on the bench this year, I know, you're probably as surprised as I am about it. Of course, if DKM joins, probably won't be the case anymore, unfortunately. Anyway, Quanta, huge ball over to Liddell, oh my word. The pass from the Scottish centre-back was incredible. Unfortunately, the finish less so. Liddell hitting it at the keeper. I don't think we're going to rue these missed chances, but given the fact that we've had an XG of 3.79 to only have scored 2, that does raise some question marks, right? A little bit of a lack of a cutting edge, a little bit of a lack of clinicalness, although Devante Cole, he knows all about clinics. He's putting one on here. It's 3-0. Lovely, lovely finish by the poacher into the bottom corner, and if there was any hope of Bromley getting 2 goals inside the last 3 minutes, it's gone. Really, really nicely worked. Liddell gets his 2nd assist of the game as well. He's been top drawer up front for us. And I feel pretty good about things. Of course, Bromley not going to be the hardest opposition we have all year. But this is a match that we can certainly look at and build off. And I feel like, as with any promotion race, getting off to a good start is always kind of just aim at number 1. If you can get a few wins, morale gets up in Football Manager, results will snowball. You can really find some form. If you start a little bit slowly, a few draws, a few losses, can sometimes just fail to ever be able to catch back up. Of course, the National League is just a super competitive league. Bromley, by all accounts, perhaps not the most competitive despite being relegated. In fact, you can see here their pre-season billing prior to transfers was 10th. Oh no, actually that's after transfers. Their odds have gone up a little bit, but never, that makes the result today even better. I suppose you can see here kind of the lie of the land. It looks like it's going to be Notts County, kind of the big bad, maybe Cheltenham as well, a team to be wary of. And well, looking further ahead, we have a home game against Notts County in the not so distant future. I anticipate we will still be doing a little bit of transfer business. That game is in 2 weeks' time. I think it'll be a pretty good one to come back for. I don't know about you. Notts County, a big team for this level. Team expected to get promoted back into the Football League. It's not quite worked out for them so far in this save game, but they've got a good team. Bowler is their key man. He's an absolutely nuts centre-back. He's going to be difficult for Little and co to break down, but I guess that's just to be expected with us rising up a level. The calibre of opposition does tend to get better as you go up leagues. You'd be worried if it didn't, really, wouldn't you? Anyway, to end things up today, we will praise Little. Thank you very much for tuning in today, guys. Let me know what you make of our transfer business. For me, it's all about Camwa. I think he's going to be a really good addition out on the right-hand side. And actually, despite a bit of a slow start today, I do feel like Dromfield will just come into his own over the course of the season and really, hopefully, enable Sam York to become the advanced playmaker that maybe he could become. I actually think he's probably better suited to play deep line playmaker, but so far in Football Manager I've been underwhelmed by what it's enabled a player to do compared to last year where deep line playmakers were crazy. So let's give him an advanced playmaker duty for now and roll, and we can adapt it if we need to down the line. Right, I've rambled on for long enough today. I will see you guys tomorrow. Notts County, it's a big one. Take care. It is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.